Hi, I'm Hannah. I am a freshman and my major is Peace and Conflict Studies.
I'm Shauna Satnick. I'm a first year and I'm Director of International Affairs for the ASUC.
My name is Josh. I am a fourth year.
As a Director of International Affairs, I was trying to think of ways to create a global dialogue on campus for current issues. And one of the issues that came to mind was human trafficking. The goal of the conference is to create a global dialogue on campus about current issues. It would be a really good way not only to educate myself, but to educate the campus and the community of Berkeley as a whole.
And then I spent a month in Peru last year where I worked in a shelter for girls who had been trafficked.
Currently, I am the Idea Lab Director for the Berkeley Anti-Trafficking Coalition and also an outreach director. And what that means is the Blum Center for Developing Economies has this program called Idea Labs, which are essentially think tanks that bring in undergrads, grad students, professors, and anyone else who wants to be involved in specific issues. And for me, I was one of the co-founders of the Berkeley Anti-Trafficking Coalition, and a lot of the work that we do is trying to connect students and be involved in whatever way is most helpful in this community.
It sounds really cliche, but like everyone here is so smart and has the potential to do really big things if only people are aware of the issues. And I feel like that's a big piece of human trafficking in general. A lot of people don't know about it, although actually recently in the last few years it's become a hot topic, which is fantastic, although it would be better if it weren't a topic at all. So for students to be involved really changes the dynamic of the issue because people listen to students because we are the people who are going to be in power and leaders in the next few decades. And so for us to care means that we can actually make a positive difference.
It's very dangerous to have something on such a large scale that people are unaware of or don't know how to react to or uneducated on. And I think the first step in order to create awareness and create opinions and action is to get educated on it.
So every Wednesday I go to the Family Justice Center where I teach English as a second language to Spanish-speaking women. And so the last 2 semesters have been a challenge for figuring out how to make a schedule fit to the point where I can bus to Oakland, teach the classes, make curriculum, cover people's lunch breaks, and then come back. But it's definitely not too hard to manage. And it's also a lot of fun to get away from campus and do something else. I'm also involved in the Berkeley Anti-Trafficking Coalition and Amnesty International, which are 2 clubs on campus. And that can also be challenging, like when I have a midterm to study for or some other commitment. But it's really rewarding to stay focused on the clubs so that I can continue to feel like I'm making some sort of small impact in the world.
Pretty much for anything I do is if I want to do it,
Right.
then I will find time and make time for it. So obviously getting an education is top of my list, and so that's always a priority for me, so I always make time for that. But if it's something I'm passionate about, then I will find time for that as well.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think as students we're in a unique position. We have somewhat flexible schedules. Oftentimes we take on more than we feasibly can just because we're very optimistic. And I think for me, the most helpful thing has been having a support system within the coalition. I touched on that a little bit earlier, but just to have friends and coworkers that are in the same place as me, ideologically and background-wise, and a lot of times, sometimes it's really just being like, hey, I need help with this. I've got a midterm coming up. I mean, tests are reality. And just being in constant communication with people that are allies and people that are helping you in this work, I think, is really helpful.
And so being in Peru probably motivated me the most to stay focused on this throughout my time at Berkeley and hopefully into my career, because I met so many powerful people, young women, younger than I was, who had been through incredible ordeals and still had a smile on their face and wanted to put their lives back together. So that was probably the most powerful thing that motivated me, but also seeing the women every week at the Family Justice Center and everything they go through and how much they've accomplished despite all the challenges that they've overcome.
The fact that it's such an injustice to what it means to be human makes me just motivated to devote at least a big part of who I am and what my time is to fighting against this issue.
The attempt to get you motivated to get involved, we came up with 5 easy steps. The first is get informed, research, self-educate, visit websites, and talk to people. The second is research events and volunteer opportunities. The third is get involved, volunteer with nonprofits, join an on-campus club. The fourth is get others involved. Volunteer with friends. The fifth is educate others, because if we all know what's going on, then maybe we can put an end to human trafficking.